Thank you all very much. This is a little dangerous, so if I get going and get too close, you just say, watch out, okay, because I don't want to fall down into that pit. That was really awesome, and I appreciate our seniors, appreciate them learning, from their retreat experience and reacting to that. It's going to be a little different chapel experience because I have some things on my heart I just want to share with you as well. And part of it comes from my own being challenged this year to kind of be different than I had been in previous years, and that's a daunting thing to do, to maybe remake yourself a little bit. And I've gone into several of your classes, seniors and sophomores, and they've heard a little bit about this story, but I wanted to address the rest of you as well. And that over Christmas break this year, I would be out in the community, whether it's at a movie theater, maybe buying Christmas presents, those kind of things. And I'd run into our students that had graduated here. Maybe I'd run into parents of our alumni, and we'd get to talking and chatting, and they might say something like, you probably don't remember me, or we never met. Or maybe the parent would say, I don't think you knew my son or daughter. And I reflected on that, and I thought, well, that's kind of strange because, I really do know a lot of the kids, but I knew them through my observations, through my study, through listening to others, talking to teachers, through attending events and those kind of things, but not through a personal interaction. And when I came back from Christmas break, I realized that, seniors have gone to our school here for 3.5 years, and in a few months we'd get on stage and, God willing, everybody passes their classes, and, we'll pass out diplomas. And shake their hands and congratulate them. And I thought, it's going to be a time for many of these people. It's the first time we'll have ever met. And that's a shame that would be the case. The challenge for me is this. I'm a pretty shy person. I'm an introvert. Being up front terrifies me. And actually reaching out in relationship at that level was challenging for me as well. But I really felt like God placed it on my heart to say, I've put you in a position of leadership, and you can't do that from behind a curtain. You have to be able to do that at times, face-to-face and directly, and to know the students and to know those that are part of our school. And so I took it upon myself to go into the classes, and I went into all the senior seminar classes and introduced myself and asked the seniors to introduce themselves back to me. And I also listened, and I heard some things from them about our school. And I was grateful to hear that. And I was grateful to, be challenged, as they were challenging us today and this morning, to think about ways that we can improve our school. And one of the things that the seniors asked particularly that they have an opportunity to do is to experience more freedoms than we've given to them up until this point, or given to all of you students perhaps up until this point. And they said, we really love the school. And we love the community, and we love our teachers and friends, and I think that's obvious when they challenge us in this regard, in that way, to kind of really focus in and try to make the school better and those kind of things. But they said, but sometimes we're at this stage in our life, we're about to leave, go off to college, leave our home, and we still feel like constrained a little bit. As I thought about that and reflected and talked with other people on our staff and on our team, I said we can do something about that. And so we are beginning in April. When we come back from spring break and practicum, we are going to pilot an open campus privilege for seniors coming up. And we've talked to them about that. I was up at the retreat, actually, telling them about how this is going to work and that they're going to have a freedom to kind of come and go. I mean, obviously, attendance is still required, and chapel is required, and community and life group and those kind of things. So it's not like it's constant coming and going by any means. But we want to recognize and say, you're right. We can look to change. We're not stuck in ways about things. And so I wanted you to be aware of that, from us and community-wide and those kind of things. This is not an open campus privilege for everybody, but just for the seniors, and we're just piloting it for these last 2 months to see how that goes and what we can learn from that. But I was grateful for the seniors giving us that opportunity to hear from them and to make a change in that regard. But I also heard some other things along the way in my interactions with students that I wanted to kind of address with you and give you some perspective on. And one of them is this whole idea of open campus. I think it was widely presumed and widely believed that the reason we have a closed campus is because we're scared, or we're nervous, or we don't trust, or that safety and security or liability issues and those kind of things are the purposes and the reasons why we've maintained a closed campus. And I want to say that those things aren't true. Those things are not true. The reason that we've always maintained a closed campus, and the reason that we'll probably continue to ask you to dive into the work of the school, is what your seniors just told us just now about making our school better. You know, as a school that we've only been in existence for 9 years, we have achieved a tremendous amount collectively. That's not adults achieving, that's students achieving collectively. Blue Ribbon School of Excellence means we're in the top 15% academically across the country. An exemplary accreditation. You know, you go to our gym and you see multiple banners of incredible competition and work, and certainly want to give a shout out to our girls and boys teams. I think we're the only school right now that have 2 teams, competing for a state championship in basketball. So I'll be there Thursday night, Friday night. Hope you'll be there as well, and we'll have a party again on Saturday when we go for the gold on winnings. All right, boys and girls, good luck to all that. But we've achieved a lot. We've achieved a lot in not just athletics, but in the arts. I mean, you look at this facility and what our students are allowed to have at their disposal, and it's not even complete. We've got much more to do to use this facility to its fullest. And you think about the hundreds of students that are preparing even now to go on discovery trips around the world this spring and this summer, and to serve in God's name and to be transformed and to raise money and to prepare for that and those kind of things. Incredible accomplishments across the board. And I am totally convinced that this would not happen without a closed campus situation where we asked you day in and day out to be attentive to what we're doing here as a school. So that's the reason. We want to continue to achieve. We want the very best for you in that regard. It's not because we don't trust. It's not because we're worried or nervous or scared. It's because we have a high brand of excellence for you and for this school, and so we need people's attention to it consistently. The other thing I had a request about was, dress code. Boy, I know that drives everybody crazy, right? I mean, dress code. And we really got 2 options with dress code, and we've changed our dress code 5 or 6 times over the last 9 years. And we've got one option, which is to have no dress code whatsoever. And the other option is just to go to uniforms, right? And I know you're all excited about that. So either of those poles don't make sense for our environment. They just don't. I mean, we don't want uniforms. We don't want that kind of rigidity and focus and et cetera. And if we go the other pole completely, then we just become, chaotic and sloppy. And again, I don't think that we're focused on achievement as we should. So we got to draw a line someplace. And I wouldn't say it's perfect. I wouldn't say our line perhaps is perfect, and certainly our execution on a daily basis is not perfect. But why is this such a big deal? You know, that's my request. That's my comment or request to you. It's not a big deal. It really isn't. If you've got good ideas, we'll listen to them. And if we can make changes and make it more impactful or useful or less problematic or those kind of things, then we want to be open to that. And we have. We've changed it many times in the past. And my final comment of what I've heard from students as well is about this day right here, about our chapel. And people have asked and said, what have you thought about an optional chapel? An optional chapel might make sense, right? I mean, for those that don't want to be here, we're not forcing something on them. And for those that truly do want to be here, they won't be distracted by those that don't want to be here. But we're not likely to do that. It's sound reasoning, it's understandable from that perspective, but you've joined a school community that's about something, okay? You've joined a school community that we perceive and believe that this Wednesday time frame, middle of the week, is kind of an inflection point where our community can come together and gather together and to sing and to praise and to hear from one another and maybe be challenged and hear from God's word, because that's who we are as a school and that's what we're about as a community. And so I'd ask that you just embrace that. If you don't want to be here from that perspective, okay, we understand that, but maybe people sitting next to you do. And you can be kind to them by allowing them to participate and to be attentive. The students that we just heard from are exactly right. We have the power within us as a school to make this to be as great a school as we can possibly be. We have the opportunity to lean into and to come into the middle of our school on a consistent basis and spur one another on to love and good deeds and make it be an incredible experience, and I believe that largely it is that way. But I've also heard from a few that they just don't really like to be here. It's a small voice, but it's a clear one. It's a thin number, not the majority. And in fact, we enjoy 95% or above 95% retention, which means that over 95% of the students come back year after year, and their siblings come, and those kind of things. And some people move away, and some people have other reasons why they leave. But I wanted to speak really just briefly to maybe a few of you. Maybe there's only 2 in this room that right now that really are miserable being at this school. And I'm so sorry for that. And I really am. Because you shouldn't be miserable. Nobody should be miserable. We should all be working on being happy. We should all be working on having joy and contentment and peace in our lives. And it's possible, it would grieve me deeply, it really would, if you found that this school was turning you away from Christianity. That this school was causing pain in your life in some way. That this school was oppressive to you in any regard. And you know, it's not kind for us to just say tough. It's kind for us to help that situation. It truly is. And you know, I think in your generation you have so many admirable qualities. But one of them that I would encourage, and you heard about that a little bit this morning as well, is the encouragement to come alongside people that are miserable and help them in that situation, help them in that process. Sometimes we're too afraid to dive in and to speak truth and honesty to one another. And I would encourage you to do that. And I can help you. I really believe I can. If you are that person that feels like this is just not the school for you, I can help you navigate out of here. I don't say that tongue-in-cheek. I don't say that in some kind of reverse psychology or judgmental phrase or anything like that. I really, truly mean that. Would not want you to be miserable here in this school. And it would be kind for me to sit down and listen to you and hear from you and to have a conversation with your parents and navigate an exit plan in a good, solid way that we can do that benefits and honors you. And if that's true, then I would like to do that. Truly, I would. Because this should be a school where you find life. It should be a school where you find joy and contentment. Obviously, you're going to be challenged. I mean, this is a challenging school. It's rigorous. There's a lot of expectations. There's a lot of pressures. We know that. We want to relieve those pressures. We want to help you succeed and be prepared well in your life and to move forward. And that's what's going to probably, will continue from that perspective. So if it's not for you, then I want to hear you. By the way, in this process, I also found that some students are like me, pretty shy. Maybe not willing to kind of speak up. Maybe not willing to kind of make their ideas heard and be known. But I want to know that we share the same kind of DNA. So if you're nervous about coming and talking to me, know that I'm nervous right now talking to you. And we can still be friends through that process. We want to continue to listen to you as a student body, as a school. And in fact, I asked my good friend, Mr. Sherry, because I know he's a master wood craftsman. Is that what you call it? Something like that. To create a, for lack of a better term, a Hey Mr. Unruh box. So we'll put it outside our office area. And kind of, it's more than a suggestion box. You got ideas, you got concerns, you've got thoughts and needs and those kind of things. I'd rather talk to you face to face. But if you want to put something in that box, we'll have that up some point in time. Maybe it won't be till next year, but we'll have that there in that place because we want to continue to listen to you and make the school be great from that perspective. That's really all I have to say. It's going to be a little bit shorter chapel. I just wanted to let you know what we're thinking about as a school, and especially let you know that the seniors have made an impact. I've been challenged as a leader to know you better, to get out in front and to listen, and to make responses and changes. And for those of you that I think is the vast majority, maybe it's everybody. Maybe I didn't speak to anybody earlier about being miserable in this school. I hope not. But for the vast majority of the rest, I would truly ask, as you were challenged by the seniors too, to lean into the work of this school. To lean in, it basically means to, kind of put your shoulder into something. You don't move something without effort, without pressure. So you lean into it and you give it some effort. Whether that's through encouraging one another, random acts of kindness, praying for our trips, attending our events, caring for your classmates. That's the work of the school, so lean into it. Okay? All right, Tanner, ready for you. Thanks, everyone.